Hi everyone, Bruce here at eTrailer. Today we're going to take a look at and install the eTrailer Class III Trailer Hitch on our 2021 Nissan Rogue Sport. Now I think this is a great option if you do have a Nissan Rogue Sport. It definitely doesn't take away from the look of your vehicle, and it's pretty well hidden. All you're going to see is the receiver tube itself. It does have a nice powder coat finish to help against rust and corrosion. Taking a little closer look at the hitch itself, we do have a 2x2 opening, and we do have a 5/8 inch hole for our pin and clip. Now, if you don't already have a pin and clip, you will need to go ahead and pick one up because some of your accessories do not come with one. Now going to take a look at our safety chain loops. It does have a nice oval welded to the bottom of the receiver tube there, and will accept the standard S hook style or even your bigger clevis hook style. This hitch does have a 3,500 pound gross trailer weight rating, which is great because it will allow you to haul a small utility trailer. The only thing I recommend if you're thinking about hauling a trailer with your receiver tube is go ahead and get the 4-pole wiring. That way your signals will work on the back of your trailer. Now we also have a 525 pound gross tongue weight rating, and that's the downforce on the receiver tube with anything loaded on it. And that is a great number because it's going to allow you to haul the heavier e-bikes if you're getting a bike carrier. Now we're going to go ahead and take a few measurements. My first measurement I'm going to take is from the ground to the top, to the inside lip of the top of the receiver tube. And we're looking at roughly 11.5 inches. The reason I'm giving you that number, it's going to give you somewhat of your, be able to tell what your ground clearance is, but on this particular hitch, I don't think you're going to have an issue. Now the next measurement I do want to take is from the center of my pinhole here to the bumper, and we're looking at about 3 inches. Now this receiver tube is tucked underneath the bumper a little bit, so just keep that in mind if you've got any cargo carriers that do fold up or even bike racks that fold up. That's just going to make sure that you're going to have enough distance where it's not going to hit the back of your car. If you are getting ready to purchase a hitch for your Rogue, or you already have one, let us know how it's working out for you and what you're doing with it. Now, as far as the install goes, it is actually quite simple, and I think you can go ahead and do it on your driveway. Follow along with me, and I'll show you how. To begin our installation, we do have to lower the exhaust, so you're going to want to grab a strap and just hook it to the frame somewhere, and what that's going to allow us to do is lower that exhaust real gently so it just doesn't fall down and whop onto the ground. We've got these isolators we got to get out from the muffler. That's the first step we're going to do. Now we are on the passenger side. You're going to have to do the same thing to the driver's side. We have one isolator here, and you want to grab some silicone or penetrating oil or even soapy water, and then we're going to grab a pry bar and pry that isolator off. We do have a third isolator right here that we also need to go ahead and remove, and we'll be able to lower that exhaust. On our next step, we do have to get rid of this tow hook, but we've got to get this black box lowered down first, and it's mounted with two 10mm bolts. And there's one bolt right here that we'll go ahead and get off. Now that we've got that first bolt off of that bracket, we're going to go ahead and just bend the heat shield down, and there's going to expose another bolt right here. And we're just going to go ahead and use a 10mm on that as well. can just lower that black box out of the way. That's going to allow us to get to the 3 bolts that are on the side of our tow hook. Now we go ahead and grab an 18mm and we're going to remove these 3 bolts. Now you're going to want to save those bolts because we are going to reuse a couple of them. Now we do have 3 more bolts we do need to remove on the other side of that tow hook. Once you remove the last bolt, you can go ahead and take the tow hook down and set it aside because you are not going to need that. Now all we did here was go ahead and put that little black box back up because we do not need to get to these side bolts, we just need to get to these bottom bolts here. And we're going to go ahead and take the heat shield and just bend it back up into place like we were never there. Now these 3 bottom holes here are going to be our attachment points on the passenger side. Now once we move over to the driver's side, these don't have welded nuts in them, so we do have to do some things a little different on the driver's side. So I am on the driver's side here, and there is a weld nut in here that we do have to use. Now what I did here, I just took some penetrating oil and sprayed it up in the hole, and you can take a wire brush to clean out the threads as well. And then after you do that, still run your bolt all the way in and all the way back out, just to make sure you've got good clean threads, and it'll make it a lot easier to put that bolt in later. You're going to go to the hole that's just before that, and we're going to go ahead and make that hole bigger. And I'm going to start off with a step bit. You can use a step bit, you can use a file, or even a deburring tool, but to make it a little quicker, I'm going to use the step bit first. Now we enlarge the hole. You've got your carriage bolt, make sure it fits, and it does. And we've got our flat spacer, so make sure it goes in there as well. And we're good to go. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab our hardware. So this particular hardware setup is for the driver's side. So you're gonna have a welded nut that you're gonna use this bolt on. Then you're gonna have 2 carriage bolts, 2 nuts, and 2 flat spacers. And then you're gonna have 2 fish wires. So for our passenger side hardware, the tow hook that we did remove, you are going to use 3 of those bolts that you did remove, so make sure you did save them. If not, go dig them out of the trash can or your bucket of bolts. Taking one of our fish wires with the screwed end, we're going to insert it in the furthest hole back. This is the hole that's closest to our bumper. We're going to take that and fish it out of the hole that we made bigger. Pull it out of that hole, and then we're going to take the flat washer or spacer, put that on, and then screw our carriage bolt on to the fish wire. Feed the plate up first, and then go ahead and pull the fish wire and pull your bolt out. Now the next one you need to do is we need to go from this hole to the bigger hole and do the same thing. Now we're ready to go ahead and throw our hitch up. You might want to grab an extra set of hands. I've got my buddy Joe here. Now on the driver's side, you're going to have to take the fish wires and make sure you put these in the correct holes. So this one's going to go in the second hole. This one goes in the first hole. And to make things easier, grab one of the bolts that we did earlier, one of the factory bolts and just go ahead and screw that in, and that will hold that in place for you. Now you're going to go ahead and grab a flange nut, and you're going to hold the hitch up a little bit, and we're just going to go ahead and pull these fish wires straight off of that bolt. Take our flange nut and get it started. So if you're having trouble getting the nut on the bolt, we can use a screwdriver like so, just to hold that bolt, some side pressure on it so we can get the nut started. Once you get it started, you can just do that same thing to the front bolt. Now we can go ahead and snug our bolts up. Now take your torque wrench. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can rent one from your local auto parts store, or we do carry them here at eTrailer. But you want to torque all these bolts down to the manufacturer specifications. Now all we need to do is go ahead and put our exhaust back in place where it was, just how you took it off, you're going to put it back on. This does complete the installation of the eTrailer Class III Trailer Hitch on our 2021 Nissan Rogue Sport. I'm Bruce. Thanks for watching.